Hi guys, I'm Chelsey. Me and my husband make weekly videos about travel and how to afford it, and this week we're going over how to pack for winter in Canada, and more specifically, one of the best mountain destinations in the world, Banff National Park. Recently, Kurtis and I took a group of friends to Banff National Park, and they came from Miami and Toronto and Ontario. Most of them, it was their first time ever going to Banff National Park, so there were tons of questions about what to pack and what to expect from winter in Banff. So in this video, we're going over what Banff in the winter is really like, how to properly pack and dress in layers, and a few things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of packing. First of all, winter in Canada is like 8 months out of the year. So if you're writing off visiting Banff in the winter time, you're really limiting yourself to a very short window to visit the park. And in my opinion, the mountains look so much better when the caps are covered in snow. So winter is December through March, but we've seen massive snowfalls in the mountains as early as the beginning of October. The average temperatures for the season is about 0 degrees to minus 10 degrees. And the coldest 2 months are December and January, which are typically between minus 4 degrees and as low as minus 14 degrees. Minus 10 degrees Celsius is cold, but it's not so cold that you can't enjoy all sorts of winter activities. Dressing correctly means that you should be able to spend hours outside and enjoy everything that the national park has to offer, with maybe just a couple breaks for hot cocoa in between. A truly uniquely Albertan experience is seeing the average low and average high temperatures in the same day. This happens more than you think, but a massive snowfall in the morning and then it being bright and sunny in the afternoon. And that's why I can't stress this enough. Dressing in layers is gonna make all of the difference. So it's always best to start by dressing in maybe even too many layers, and then you can take away these layers until you have the right comfort level for the conditions. My ideal winter outfit goes base layer, long sleeve, hoodie, winter jacket. And for bottoms, I always go base layer, jeans, maybe even ski pants, and always at least 2 pairs of socks. So a base layer, or sometimes referred to as thermals or long johns, is probably gonna be the most important thing that you pack. So a base layer sits close to your skin. It's typically a compression material, and it helps to keep your body heat inside of you. Technology in base layers have come so far, and it avoids you having to wear all of these big, huge, bulky items. It's seriously so impressive how just my base layer and jeans will keep my legs warm all day, even when we've been out hiking. So one of your next most important items is gonna be your winter jacket. You don't always have to go out and get some $400 Canadian Goose rated for minus 40 coat to keep you warm. When you're dressing in layers, like the layers that I just showed you guys, you're gonna be able to stay warm all day as long as you have a nice shell that's gonna help protect you from any wind, and maybe even a little water resistance to keep the wet and snow away. So next up is gloves. Your hands and feet are always gonna be the first thing on you that gets cold. Extremities are so bad for this. Mittens typically keep your hands warmer than gloves do. If you're going with something cute and knitted, you should definitely make sure that they have a good lining inside of them. And if you can get something that offers a little bit of waterproofing, that would be great too. Wet equals cold. Avoid getting anything wet. I can't stress this enough to you guys. As soon as your clothes are wet, it's gonna draw your body heat away from you, and warming up is gonna get really hard, and it'll be really hard to dry your clothes out. My pro tip for you with mittens and gloves is I like to keep a thin pair of black gloves underneath my big cozy mittens. This way, if I'm taking my mittens off to operate my camera or to tie my skates up, I still have dexterity without having to expose my fingers to the freezing cold elements. Next up, we're talking toques, or as some Americans might refer to them as beanies. You can lose a lot of your body heat through the top of your head. Once again, I said the extremities are some of the first things to get cold, so don't think that you can get away without covering your head up. It will shock you how fast that even a tiny breeze will freeze the top of your ears. This one is actually pretty important for you to remember. Next up, boots. You need to get some waterproof boots because there's nothing worse than trekking through the snow all day, getting wet feet and wet socks, and you're gonna be freezing cold. It's gonna wreck your whole day. It's gonna be impossible to warm up, and you're gonna spend the rest of the time in the lodge trying to dry your boots out when everyone else is off on their adventures. A pro tip for you guys, if you have a pair of boots that you like, but you're unsure about their level of waterproofness, there are great sprays that you can spray onto any shoes and any boots, and it's gonna help make them more water resistant. It's a silicone spray, and we'll put the link in the description so that you know what we're talking about. And lastly on our list are a few little things that maybe you wouldn't have thought to pack for winter in Canada. The first being your swimsuit. There are some great natural hot springs around Banff, and there's nothing more winter and romantic than sitting in this beautiful tub of water and the snow falling and collecting on your head. You've got to check out the Banff hot springs. It's amazing. Next up are ice crampons. These are specially fitted spikes, basically, that fit on the bottom of your shoes to ensure that you don't slip and fall when things get icy. There are some great hikes to frozen waterfalls, and it feels like you're in a mythical land. Not every hike is gonna require you to have crampons like this. It definitely helps to not limit yourself to what you're able to do when you're in Banff National Park. Besides, slipping and falling and hurting yourself on ice is a surefire way to wreck your vacation. And lastly, some dress clothes. There are some actually beautiful and fancy locations for you to go check out, like the Banff Springs Hotel and the Fairmont Lake Louise. They have amazing cocktail lounges and places for you to have great brunch. And having some fancy clothes for a night out to one of these locations would be a great way to polish off your trip. So there you guys have it. You're ready to stay warm in Banff National Park. This is one of our favorite places on the whole planet, and wintertime is honestly one of the best times to go see it. There are so many activities that you guys can do if you just remember to stay warm. If you have any other tips for dressing for Banff, we'd love to see them in the comments below. Hit that like button if you found this video useful, and subscribe because we want to see you guys next week for our next adventure. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!